Rolling back the years, us runners were reliant on coaches, training plans, and of course our local running clubs to guide us through our journey of a training block. Fast forward to 2025 and running apps have entered the chat in a big way. So how do we feel about this? Is this good? And are we at the point where technology is taking over? Now of course, as you can imagine, I've got my own take on this, but I'd love to hear your thoughts as we go through the video down in the comments below. We'll kickstart with what they offer a new runner to their platform, move on to what I think they're doing right, and then get into the section are the bits that I think they might need to change. So why are these apps becoming so successful, and what are they offering runners when they embark on their journey with their app? Well, if we look at it from a business perspective, we've seen over the years very successful coaches or coaching companies really expand to the point where they probably have a limit and can't take on any more clients. Now in the marketing world, if you go to any marketing course or see anything online, what you'll often see is tiered subscriptions or tiered offerings from businesses. And coaching companies or coaches are really no different. You'll often see things like gold, silver and bronze packages, or a base level, a mid-tier level and a high quality level. And in the coaching world, we're looking at maybe in the gold tier, one-to-one coaching. In that mid-tier level, you might get a bespoke plan with monthly contact with the coach. And then maybe in that base level tier, you're just being provided a plan to get you to that goal race with very minimal interaction between the coach and the client. And what you'll often find in a marketing and business world is the majority of people often end up going for that middle tier. It's just the way things are and the way you are meant to, as a business, structure your tiered packages. And what you'll also often find is a lot of coaches, as they do get more experience, they will move away from that lower level tier package and really focus a little bit more on that bespoke one-to-one or maybe a bit more involved coaching aspect, leaving a huge potential client base there at the bottom with no offering from that coaching service. Well, that personally I feel is where these running apps have really come in at a very affordable price. They're able to offer that structure that these runners need to get to their goal race, to the point now where in a lot of these apps do actually have specific tailored plans to set races, whether it's the Boston Marathon, whether it's the London Marathon. It's very good in the way they do it. And so suddenly these people don't need a coach, they've got an app to do absolutely everything for them. But once again, in some of these apps they do have coaches on hand that you can message and can contact to get a little bit of extra support. And of course, with a lot of those clientele now going with those apps rather than a coach, I think that's where they're being extremely successful at the moment. There are a lot of people embarking on the sport. As we have said multiple times on the channel, running is in a huge boom right now. We are seeing a lot of growth in the sport. And of course, what that means is a lot of people are trying to step up from that base level of entering into the sport, but don't quite have the finances or don't quite want to get a bespoke one-to-one coaching plan. Therefore, these apps provide that middle of the road area where they can take that next step up. I'm sure an app would argue, or someone from those apps would probably argue, that they're looking to cover a wide range of runners, but from my perspective, looking into that situation, that definitely does look to be the type of clients that they are picking up. So why do I think these apps are doing some good? What do you guys think as well? This is a point where I'd love to throw the question out to you. I'll go through my points very quickly. Number one, I think they're offering some good support and good structure. I know not all of the apps offer the support side of things, but I do know some of them do have a live chat facility, or you are able to get in touch with some coaches that can give you a little bit more direct feedback. But in terms of structure, I think that's the main point that we should focus on here, because a lot of people will kind of go, I have a goal race in 12 weeks time, I want to get a training plan together, I want to train, I can't afford a coach, maybe I could afford a running app, maybe I'll just try and go it alone. And I think the structure you'll get from an app is going to be far more beneficial than you doing it on your own. Not only does it offer the accountability, but of course it also offers a good community feel. You feel like you're part of something, and we'll come on to that now. Number two, you feel like you're part of a good community. I actually liken this back to a few years ago. I remember being in a fair few Facebook groups back in the day of running, when a lot of people were unattached from running clubs, and then suddenly this boom of the Lonely Goat Running Club kind of came to the forefront, where all these unattached members were able to join this kind of national club, where they were all able to run for an affiliated club, but they were able to provide each other with the support and camaraderie that a running club offers. And I thought, honestly, that was a really great thing. And I think the running apps are also offering something similar. I think, once again, if you're part of a movement, it can often be a really positive mindset thing, as well as getting the structure like we just talked about, having other people to bounce ideas off, having other people to talk to that are also using that app can be a really beneficial thing too. I think the third thing that they've been really clever on, and I've touched on this just earlier, is having those specific race plans like Oxford Half Marathon, London Marathon, Boston Marathon, Berlin Marathon. You can go onto a lot of these apps and find specific plans tailored to those races, which can be quite beneficial. Not only is that clever psychologically, because you think, thinking, oh gosh, I'm not just using any old training plan, I'm using a training plan that has been designed and geared for that specific race that I'm training for. But it does actually tailor some of those workouts to be a little bit more specific, whether it's a bit more hilly, whether it's a bit more flat, whatever it is, it's going to be a little bit more specific to that event. I can't imagine it's going to be hugely specific, but again, it's more of a mental thing that they've done there. And finally, I think ease of use. It's got to be right up there with one of the main reasons why they are so successful. You pay for a monthly subscription, which I think so many people are used to these days, and you've got everything you need in one app. The majority of people use their smartphones for pretty much everything these days. We are in the day and age where Amazon Prime is the gold standard of living these days. We no longer go to the high streets, we just click an order from our sofa. And although I find that personally sad, I'd much rather go out and support a local shop. It's just the way the culture is these days. And so once again, keeping everything condensed within one app, not needing to go anywhere else for any other information, is a really clever thing. Now let's move on to the things that I think they need to do a little bit of refinement on, especially over the next 2 or 3 years. And the first one, they need to improve the variety of sessions and runs that they're offering people in their training plan. I've spoken to a lot of people that have followed a variety of coaching apps because of course I coach athletes myself, and a lot of the people I pick up have often come from coaching apps and are maybe looking to take the next step. I think the first bit of feedback I often get within the first 4 to 6 weeks is we are absolutely loving the variety that you're offering. I've seen a lot of screenshots and see a lot on Strava of people putting their workouts on there, and for some reason there's a massive obsession, especially with one running app in particular, where they love to do a lot of over-under workouts, an on-rep at a certain pace and off-rep at a certain pace. And these people are doing them pretty much weekly. I'm not quite sure what the obsession is over that specific workout. I know I'm targeting something very specific here, and I'm not saying that this is a completely across-the-board issue, but I have seen a lot of people say we're getting quite sick of these over-under workouts. Now I think there's a great place for over-under workouts in training. They're brilliant for speed endurance because of course you're teaching your body not to get back to an easy jog, but you're teaching it to float. But you don't want that every single week, and you certainly don't want that dropped into every single phase of your training. Number two, from what I've seen, and this is actually on a multitude of apps, I think some of the paces that are being prescribed and put out there for these runners to use can be a little bit hot, a little bit spicy, a little bit too quick for their ability level. I've certainly questioned this when I've spoken to a few people about it, and I think again for a more experienced runner it might not be quite the issue, because you might go, well, do you know what, I don't actually feel like I can hit that pace, so I'm just going to dial it back and run it to the pace that I think I'm in, because I know that if I'm going to keep repeatedly week in week out stretching myself to try and hit these paces that I'm really just struggling with, I'm going to end up injured. But for someone that's slightly less experienced, I think this could be a major issue. There's definitely some algorithms going on in there that are calculating these paces, in my opinion, certainly anyway, and I'm not sure what you guys think or if you've had any experience of it or even spoken to anyone that's done it, but a lot of conversations are along the lines of the paces prescribed are a little bit too fast. And really the third and final thing that I do want to really hammer home is it is of course very generic. I think what these apps can do is definitely get you into good shape. I have mentioned this earlier in the video, but I do feel like it's just not going to work for everyone. There's going to be a group of people it works for and a group of them that it won't. And I honestly feel like you're going to figure that out pretty quickly. Use the analogy of throwing 30 kids into a classroom. Don't literally throw them. Put 30 kids into a classroom. 15 of them are going to come out with really solid grades. 5 of them are probably going to absolutely excel and want extra support. 5 of them are really going to struggle, and 5 of them shouldn't even be in that classroom. Everybody is wired differently and everyone is going to learn in a different way at a different speed, and I think that's where a lot of people will fall down with these apps. So do I think they're going to make a coach's job redundant? Do I think coaches are just not going to be needed over the next few years as these apps develop? Well, I honestly can't see that happening. I can't see the development of these apps being so much that they make a coach's job redundant. I think what you've got to remember, and certainly something that I've learned coaching a lot of athletes over the last few years, is you're going to pick up some athletes that have incredible top end speed, and you're going to pick up some athletes that you could wind up and click along out there on the trails for 2-3 hours and be absolutely fine putting minimal effort in. You're going to get runners at different ends of the spectrum, and that's why you need to tailor a plan to them that's going to specifically help them move forward. And that is absolutely what an app cannot do. So I definitely think there's going to be those runners that are looking to really kick on and need a little bit more input than just AI generated text on an app or even a live chat with the coach's input from there. But I actually do think we're going to see these apps improve over the next 2 or 3 years to the point where I think they are going to be able to be a little bit more specific, maybe a little bit less generic, and I bloody hope they're going to stop giving everyone over-under intervals every single week. And this of course is a point in the video where I'd love to throw the question out to you. Hopefully you've already dropped a comment, but if you've been listening all the way through to now, I really appreciate that, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on running apps in the comments below. As you've probably gathered from my standpoint, I can definitely see that there is room for these running apps, and I do think that for a group of runners they are going to do a really good job, but I don't think they serve the masses yet, and I think they've got a long way to go to that point. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this discussion, please do check out this video up here. This is one that I had on the social media platform Strava recently, and if you enjoyed that video, then I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy this one down here too. And I'll see you guys over there.